Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. Matthew, what's up, baby?
What's up, baby?
Welcome to World War III.
World War III time, baby.
Ready for the draft?
I'm ready for the draft.
All right.
My American flags and AR-15 shirt today.
Hey, nothing more American than rocking an American flag and dying over another country.
Exactly.
In the Middle East,
Yeah,
baby.
Middle East, baby.
So that's the topic of today, right? It looks like this conflict is inevitable. Trump, he's been very consistent. Iran can never have nukes, right? They can never have nuclear weapons. We see Russia and China this morning both warned. Putin came out and warned the United States, don't do this, don't get involved, or because they do have a military and oil contract with Iran. Another thing, last night, I don't know if people heard this, Russia officially broke all diplomatic ties with the United States. Like, we had a bunch of meetings lined up. They said, we're done for now. You guys, we need to figure this situation out. So it's brewing, and this reminds me a lot of World War I. Now, we pray for peace, we hope for peace, but people are going to be people. Iran cannot have nukes. But on the home side, we see like a financial, crypto, IRAs, 401ks, oil. When Trump came into office, it was like $73 a barrel. It fell down to 59. Right now, it's at over 70 again. And it's actually higher than what it was when he came in, right? There's so much oil and gas in the Middle East, conflict there. Boom, everything spikes. Now, is America going to make a lot of money off oil? Yep. So is Russia, because, it's Russia, America, and the Middle East who have all the oil. Now, kind of where do you see, how do you see this all playing out? Because I know people who are right now in Israel. My good friend Dan, Air Force, in Israel, he said, don't believe the news. We are officially bombing Iran.
Yeah, it looks like things are escalating. That's never good. You don't want to see Trump, get us into any new wars, but here we go. Right. I kind of see it from both sides, which is, look, Iran started with an act of the highest level of treason from Barack Obama and John Kerry personally. Right. By doing that Iran nuclear deal, I think they already have nukes. I think they have a lot of our technology that's been sold out by the politicians. More acts of treason. We have to unwind this situation somehow, some way. Iran is, their government. I mean, it's essentially run by our deep state. It's like I kind of equate them to North Korea, right? Because that's what I think our government wanted to do prior to Trump stepping in, was they wanted to have, North Korea with nukes. They wanted to have Iran with nukes, right? So it's kind of these plausible deniabilities to get into war in the future had Hillary won, right? We'd already be in nuclear war if Hillary had won. So I'm with Trump. I hope he can manage to de-escalate the situation. The people of Iran are great. It's the fastest growing Christian population in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to be mindful of, the people there. We have to protect them and make sure that they're in good standing. But yeah, this is going to escalate. Oil prices will probably shoot even higher. That's going to make our gas prices at the pump even higher. This is, I hate to say it, and I take no pleasure in this, but it's a great environment for precious metals. It's a great environment for precious metals. And as things escalate, it's not just Iran that you have to worry about. It's, as you pointed out, it's Russia, it's Ukraine, it's all these different conflicts. China, when's China going to step in? Are they going to step up and, use Iran as their proxy, right? We're using Israel as our proxy. They're using Iran as their proxy, and we're fighting a proxy war between the two countries. Most likely that's where it's headed.
There was this guy his name was Vladimir Jerinoki. He was the top Soviet Union international spy, right? That was his job. And when the Soviet Union fell apart, he always hated the communists. He's like, you are the reason Soviet Union was corrupt. But he was smart. He ran against Putin, and he actually warned. He's like, if this dude wins, he's going to rewrite the Constitution and always be in power. And everyone laughed at him in 94.
That's exactly right.
Here we are he just passed away 2 years ago. He passed away at the age of like 90 something. Towards his death, he actually was he would go on all these talk shows, talk about Ukraine, America. Joe Biden gets into office in 2021. We leave Afghanistan. And then he died like 2 months after the Hamas thing started. with Israel Hamas. His last episode, when he said, "Look, I know I'm almost done," and he made this prediction, and he said Joe Biden's not gonna run for re-election. Too dumb, too stupid. Da da da. So Trump is gonna. He was running. Trump is gonna win. He's like, they're gonna probably put him in prison. They might try to kill him, but he will win. Why? Because it's gonna be the economy, the open border. There's nothing they can do. He's gonna overwhelm it. He said, but sooner or later, he said, and I predict it's gonna happen under Trump. Israel is gonna do what they've decided to do 2 decades ago. That is hit Iran. That is their last enemy standing. Syria's out. Iraq's out. Libya's out. They took care of all those guys. He said, when they hit them, he said, a country of almost 95 million people, they're going to go up. What's up? We got Azerbaijan. We got Georgia. We got Russia. He said, we are going to close the border. He said, so they're going to go around. They're going to go around through Ukraine and into Europe. And he said the United States is going to shut down the border. He said chaos everywhere. He said, imagine 100 million people moving. He said, and they have nowhere to go because Israel nuked them. That was always their plan. He said, we shut down our border. America shuts down their border. He said, oil prices spiked could be up to $300-400 a barrel. Now, this is, 3 years ago, this dude was like, Trump's back in office. Putin, we're taking care of Ukraine. He said, when everything's said and done, he said the two biggest benefactors, Russia and the United States, Europe is going to collapse because of the immigration. He said they're already on the brink of collapse. He said America would have collapsed, but because Trump is going to be deporting people and not letting anyone new in, they are going to make so much money off the oil. He said Russia, he said in China, this is going to collapse China, and he said Trump is going to sanction them, tariff them leading up to it. China, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, they have no natural resources. They have nothing. They have no oil, no gas. Yeah, they say they got gold and they got lithium for batteries.
Tungsten. They have a lot of tungsten.
Yeah, but lithium, right, for batteries. But they are a massive producer of cheap goods. And when gas and oil is skyrocketing, the price of goods goes up. And then to transport them goes up. They can't, with the wages that they pay, they can't keep up with that. So what's going to happen? The way he predicted it, and so far as what we have seen in the last year, it's he was right on. Why was he so good at predicting stuff? Because he spent his whole life spying and watching politics, and it's just a natural thing. Hey, they're going down this path. This is the only way it's going to end. They're going down this path. If they don't stop, this is how they're going to end. And going back to how you said it, precious metals, IRAs today, 401ks, crypto, it's cooked. Oil is skyrocketing.
Yeah, what you're going to get is energy inflation, energy related inflation, right? When the price of energy starts to skyrocket, like you pointed out, cost of goods, right, cost of services, etc., start to skyrocket, right? And what do you think our media is going to be doing with that, right? When everything in the grocery store starts to get out of control and starts to get extremely expensive, your everyday goods start to get extremely expensive, they're going to say, oh, it's Trump's economy. It's Trump's this, it's Trump's that. So they're going to use this as an opportunity to make them look bad. But this is the way I kind of look at it, is this is the kind of pain that we have to get through in order to, yeah, we might lose this battle right now, but in the long term, we're going to win the war, right? Long term, I think. But this is where you could start seeing problems in the banks, problems in the markets, problems in the stock market, the debt market, right? You really want to get your money in self-custody. And I think precious metals really allow people to do that, right? It's not a long-term strategy. It's something that it's a bridge, right? Get out of the system, let all this chaos ensue, right? And don't let your money be impacted on it. Bring your money, right? When we do gold IRAs, right? And I use gold as kind of the banner for all the precious metals. We're bringing your money into existence, right? Right now, if I log into my online banking and I look at my checking account, those numbers are just dots and teetles on a computer screen. That money is not real, right? But when you go and you take, $100,000 or $5,000 or $500 and you turn it into precious metals, that money is literally being brought into reality in your possession, right? And I think it's really important that people be very mindful that this, just as we're talking about here, and I think you bring up some great points, Vlad, this situation is going to escalate, I think, out of control to almost like a Cuban Missile Crisis style situation. And when we get there, you know, what impact is that going to have on the banks and the markets and all these different entities? I think it's going to have a major impact.
It is, and like I'm not a prophet, but I see two ways coming out of this. Either it ends really quick or it's World War III. For those who read the Bible, Armageddon. These are the two countries 4,000 years ago were prophesied are going to pop everything off. Which China and Russia and America right now were getting along great until Iran and Israel didn't. This is where everyone really chooses a side, and we can be buddies, and we can be friends and shaking hands. But imagine like me and you are good friends. And then let's say you have a blood brother that you grew up with and you love him and you're great. And then so do I. And they start fighting.
Yeah.
That's going to,
right.
Just, you're going to take the side of your brother or your parents. Right. Same with me. And Russia last night cuts all ties with us. They said, we don't want any meetings about Ukraine. Screw you. We don't want to talk. Don't even call us. This is massive. China comes out and warns us. We got all these other countries who are really taking sides. And then we have these stupid politicians like Lindsey Graham, Ted Cruz. Lindsey Graham, two nights ago, bro. Lindsey Graham last night. And screw you, Lindsey Graham. This is coming from a friend, Dan, who you already sent to Israel. He goes on Fox News and says, well, how about you go ask the troops? I guarantee you, any troop in the Middle East said they are willing to lay down their life to make sure that Iran never has a nuclear weapon.
Well, we know Lindsey Graham. He's been around since the good old Bush days, and you know, he's a closet gay man, which is fine. Nothing against gay people. No problem there.
I don't agree with him there.
I mean,
ask me in my opinion. No,
I mean, I don't really care. It's like, just admit it, bro. You know, just admit it. Yeah, Lindsey Graham's just another one of the old guard scumbags. Yeah. Ted Cruz is just another scumbag. And this is what I always talk to you about is I don't like any of these politicians. What I'd like to see is I'd like to see the Brunson case, the Lloyd Brunson case, you know, Brunson v. Adams. I'd like to see that make it through the Supreme Court so we can get 95% of Congress kicked out for treason. That's what I'd love to see. But hey, you know,
me too. Yeah, I'd love, but yeah, this is the dangerous one. This is the one that actually does keep me up at night.
I think this is what it speaks to is that our politicians, it shows us that our politicians, it's not Trump that got us in this situation. No. It's our political system from decades of this absurd foreign policy of just the war machine, the this, the that. It's got to come to an end. And I'm hoping that at the end of this, you know, all these people in Congress, they'll be exposed for who they are. The Lindsey Grahams, the Ted Cruzes, the Mitch McConnells. I think they will. You know, I say people hang in there. I think everything will be okay, but, you know, buckle up and, you know, if you haven't already, get yourself protected with precious metals. And I would say just give me a call, you know, even if it's just to say hi, you want to say hi to Vlad. We absolutely do that. But yeah, I think it's a great place to be during this craziness. And
one last thing, who's the Trump endorsed candidate running for Arizona governor? How did he slip my mind? I got to share this with you, ladies and gentlemen, and with you. This is amazing. Hold on, Google. Trump endorsed Andy Biggs. Andy Biggs. So there's this guy, conservative guy, I forgot his X account. He went down to Congress last night and he walked around to every Republican and said, as an American congressman, who's more important to you, the Israeli people or the American people? Now, if you say, look, I love Israelis, but, you know, that's a close ally, but America is first, I'd be okay with it. He asked over 40 congressmen and women.
What'd they say?
The same. They're all the same. They're equal. You're an American. I do not expect an Israeli representative to ever say that American people are equal as Israelis to him.
America
Never.
First. America first.
Yes, it's okay to love your friends and take care of your friends, but you're an American representative. The only one who, without waiting a second, stopped, looked, and said, the American people come first and then our allies. Amen. Imagine if a Chinese representative in China, they're like, you know, hey, who do you like more?
Absurd, yeah.
The Americans, screw Chinese. You know, it's okay to love your friends. Like, I love my nieces and my nephews, and I will lay down my life for them or kill for them. but not above. If they're sinking and so are my kids, I save my kids, then them.
Yeah, I mean, I've always said it. I hate our politicians. I hate every single one of them.
I like Andy Biggs more.
I don't trust anybody. Let's see results. Let's see them do something first that's meaningful, that actually has an impact on my life. Then even Andy Biggs, I'll give Andy Biggs a shot. Hey, but I think the next wave of politicians are going to be people like you, Vlad, where somebody like you should go run for office, right? It shouldn't be one of these people. You got to get the money out of the. My good friend Louis Herms from Screw Big Gov, who we also work with. My company VERITY Metals. Louis, he's running for governor of California.
He is?
He's running for governor. Yeah. And I'm helping him on his campaign. Louis is just a regular guy, but he's been in the fight for years. He speaks, truth. And, that's the type of person that I could actually see winning. And who's he running against? He's running against Steve Hilton from Fox News, the British guy.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
The guy's got like $150 million war chest. It's like you're raising $150 million to make $150,000 a year. I mean, our politics are so backwards, and I'm just so sick of it that I hope that, after all this war calms down, I hope that we can start to rethink how we run this country and who we put in office.
So if our politicians are dumb, just imagine our bankers. Don't trust them. Call Matthew. Boom.